This morning we had a boat pull alongside who said that we were on their winter mooring spot. I was fully expecting it, and as a result Peter's now hauling the boat by rope down one space because the boat that was there has moved. But Beulah May will be coming at some point and we'll have to move again. But I'll let Peter tell you the rest of that story. It's our beautiful painting by John Leeson. Still amazes me every time I see it. Mother of pearl inlay paintwork is so in keeping with the Bandonian from where it comes from. Absolutely fantastic.
So here we are at Thrupp village, just north of Oxford, and I'm just waiting for the water tank to fill up from the water point here. I've been here almost 2 weeks now. Tomorrow it will be exactly 2 weeks, and that's because there's no point in going much further, because 4 miles down the canal I need to go onto the Thames, and the Thames when I arrived was all on what they call red boards, end to end, and it means effectively it means you can't go on the river. It's flowing too fast, and I'm going downstream, so that's an extra challenge because you have to be going faster than the water in order to be able to steer. So I would be flying down, and it's just, technically I could go on that. I could just say I don't care about the red boards, I'm going on the river, and the Environment Agency who manage it won't stop me because they can't. However, if I had an accident, I'm sure my insurance company would not be interested in it. So someone else who was in the same position as me had a boat in Oxford, and he asked a professional boat mover to take it down the Thames, and the boat mover declined. So that's the situation. I have a fallback plan, which is that if I can't get down there, there is a slot here that I can rent month by month and stay here. And it is quite a pleasant little village, nice little pub, lots of friendly people. But it would be a lot easier if I could get to Midget for other things that I need to do. As of this afternoon, which is what, the 29th of October, some of the sections that I need to pass through are going into yellow, which says stream decreasing. So that means I could go on there. And the navigable part of the Thames is divided up into 43 sections. I need to go across 24 of them. And as of today, I think 9 are yellow and the rest are still red. Critically, there are 2 red ones, and they're between here and Abingdon, because I could possibly go down to Abingdon. I know of some moorings there, and tie up securely and then just wait. The risk is I might wait until February, because the Thames can do that. If we get any rainstorms like we had last year at this time, then yeah, I would be stuck long term. So it's a bit of a gamble. I know the inconveniences and the advantages of staying here. I don't know the pros and cons of getting stuck somewhere along the Thames, because that depends on where I get stuck. Abingdon, for example, I know I can walk into the shops and the town, and that's nice, but Abingdon doesn't have a railway station. So if I wanted to go down to my doctor's in Farnborough, I would have to get a bus from Abingdon back up to Oxford and then get the train. Whereas I can get a bus to Oxford station from here. So it's a bit of a quandary. Yeah, and just waiting to see. I'll have to move from the spot I'm on in the next couple of days because it's sold as winter moorings and they're all taken. So the name of the boat that's going to be in my spot has already been staked out just outside. So they'll be there on Friday at the latest, because it starts on the 1st of November. And if they turn up a day or so early, then I would really be obliged to move out of their way. There is a boat on the spot that I've been offered here, but he's also moving for the 1st of November. So it's a kind of a chess move. We have to wait until the wonderfully named Spud and Bucket moves, and then I can move into that spot should I want it. So that's where we are now, I think. So they say it's good to talk, and yesterday I talked about the options that were facing me for getting down the Thames, whether to go as soon as there was a gap and trust that I would get through and maybe have to stop somewhere on the way, or stay here where there is an assured spot reserved for me. Saying it out loud like that made me realise that I don't really want to get stuck on the Thames, because I don't know where I would get stuck. If I'm stuck, it's because the current's very strong, so the river level may be changing, and I would have to try and find somewhere where I could be possibly for months on end. It does happen on the Thames. It can be red boards for months, and so I would have to think about fuel and shopping and water and emptying the toilet cassettes.
You've been stuck in various places at various times for extended periods, haven't you?
Yes.
You get caught out.
Well, yes. I mean, one time we got stuck was that I remember doing a video about it, but at Littleborough, near Rochdale,
Yeah.
and I was one of 5 boats, I think, and we all stopped in Littleborough for the same reason. The actual broken lock was 7 or 8 miles ahead. In Littleborough there was a water point and a disposal point for cassettes, and there was the village with shops and buses and restaurants, and so we all stayed there for about 3 weeks. It did make me think, and also there are other things going on that it would be easier if I said, okay, I'm going to stay here for at least probably November, certainly into the 3rd week of November. Of the 24 sections I need to pass through on the river, 11 of them, as of this morning, are still red. So there's still a lot of scope for getting stuck. Of course, it may then come on to rain a lot. We may get storms like we did last year, in which case this will then become my winter mooring. And I know that is an option that's open to me. So, having said it out loud and heard
in the video yesterday?
Yes, it really helped me to crystallise my thinking. And I thought, I don't really want to take the chances.
Yeah.
So, and also this is a nice place.
It's got a real community spirit about it. The local pub, the Boat Inn, they were teaching people how to play cribbage the other night. I think it was cribbage, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and people seem to go in there. They're known by the landlady. There are dogs a million that come in and out, and they're all very friendly. And it just has a really nice feel to it.
Yes, yeah. And also here there's there's a CRT water point and LSAM point for the cassette. There's bins for rubbish disposal, including recycling, which is not so common these days. There's also a cafe on site, and we're on a bus route into Oxford. So yeah, so I was thinking, well, I've said before, I've been thinking over the last year or so about, I can't keep continuous cruising forever. So we've spoken to the wardens who manage this little club that's here, and I'll probably sign up to their club and then put my name down for a vacant mooring spot, and then maybe in a year or so I would be here and go cruising from here rather than just cruising all over the place. I've been looking around for a while. One of the advantages here is it's not a marina, so you don't get rows of boats side by side, so that you can't see out of the windows very far because there's a boat 2 or 3 feet away. But it has most of the facilities. It has the mooring points have electric and water laid on.
And the wardens walk around daily and keep an eye on things, and if water levels rise or drop and boats are hitched up to their lines, they actually release them or tighten them as is required, as we found out today talking to one of the wardens, which seems really good.
It's another case of serendipity. And when I arrived here, almost exactly to the hour, two weeks ago, normally I would have passed, well, I probably would have stayed overnight, but the next morning I would have carried on out onto the Thames, and by now I would have been on the Basingstoke Canal. But that hasn't been possible, and so it's given me a chance to experience the atmosphere here and the whole thing, even down to the fact that on a Monday night a pizza van arrives outside the pub and makes some really, really nice pizzas.
I arrived on a Monday and if you saw last week's video, I was talking about my diabetic diagnosis, and so pizza is something that I wouldn't normally have, but having just arrived and eaten sensibly throughout the day, we ordered pizza, and the base was so thin, so light. I think it was probably the equivalent of one slice of bread, the way it was looking. It wasn't heavy at all, and the toppings were all vegetables, so it felt like a very healthy meal to me. And it was so delicious. So yeah, every Monday night pizza. That sounds like a plan.
Yes, and so you can just, as we did, you walk over, leave your order at the van, and then go into the pub, get a drink and sit down, and then they bring the pizzas into you. And so there were, you could tell that because there were boxes everywhere until the staff were clearing them away. Yeah,
shout out to Uggie's Pizza, because that's the pizza van that came. Uggie's Pizzas, very nice.
Yes, lots of unusual bits. I had just had a quattro formaggi, so thinking, well, cheese, do I eat too much cheese? Well, just for now. But it came with something I couldn't quite identify, but I overheard somebody, and I think there was little cubes of something which had a nice texture, and it seems to have been pear, and there were also walnuts chopped up on there. So little things like that really unusual. So it was very nice.
Yeah, one good reason for keeping a mooring here.
Yes, cruising from here, then we've got the choice. I can go 4 miles down and then onto the Thames in the centre of Oxford, and from there you can go down to London in one direction, or onto the Kennet and Avon at Reading, or go back up towards Lechlade and turn off onto the Birmingham-Worcester Canal, which would take you into Birmingham. Or we can go north on the Oxford Canal through places like the Upper and Lower Hayford, Banbury, Cropredy. You know, it's a nice run, and then you pick up the Grand Union. Again, you've got options to you've got options to the network from there because you come up to Braunston. So it's not a bad place to be. So yes, it's very. I'll mull it over, but probably tomorrow I'll ask to formally apply for membership.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what comes up.
Yes, they seem to have very good community activities that they put on. There's carol singing going to be happening in December. The pub, the Boat Inn, has music nights. There's another pub called the Jolly Farmer not too far away.
Jolly Boatman.
Oh, sorry. Jolly Farmer's near me where I live. The Jolly Boatman's, apologies. And I'm sure they have activities too. Annie's Tea Room, which is just by the lift bridge in Thrupp, have activities. This week they've got pumpkins going on and all sorts of things.
And the witch hunt.
Oh yes, the witch hunt. A little boy came in excited to do the witch hunt, and when he came running in afterwards saying he'd completed it, he'd found all the witches. He got 2 little treats as Haribo sweet bags. So there's a lot of things that they put on here for community and visitors. It does seem like a really nice place to be. So potentially, if things work out, this could be a future mooring point for you.
Yes, yeah.
And the best bit is that they are canal side moorings and not side-by-side moorings, which is something that you have experienced, but you're not keen about. No, you've always said that you would prefer a canal side mooring, and then you can just cruise off and come back to it.
Yes, and certainly initially I'd hope to maybe spend 3 or 4 months at least cruising anyway.
Yeah.
So just have a base to come back to.
I haven't yet made it onto the boat full time. I mentioned that last week for various reasons. But I haven't lost all hope of doing that, and you're being very patient with me. So there's lots of good things ahead, and we just have to bide our time, and things will happen, I'm sure.
I just thought as well, of course, what I said about permanent base. As a continuous cruiser this year, I'll be paying 5% extra on my boat licence, and next year it will be 10%, and I can't remember how far it goes, but it does increase.
Right.
So having a permanent base would mean I wouldn't be paying that surcharge.
Oh, right. Yeah, I do remember that CRT brought that out in order to raise funds, which is fine. If you were going to be a continuous cruiser, I think you said that you'd be more than happy to meet that commitment.
Yes.
Because you were using the facilities and using the canals and everything. But looking ahead to dodgy knees, elbows, heads, you name it, we're probably going to have something going wrong. It would be nice to have a home base, as it were.
Yeah.
So this might well turn out to be it. We'll watch this space, basically, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.